Well, hey y'all, welcome to the Gramstead. It's been a minute since I've done any videos because it's summertime here in Northeast Florida, which means we have just been laying low. The only thing that we've been doing are the absolutely necessary things, and hopefully things that don't keep us outdoors for too long. So it's hot, but what I have been doing is starting to prepare for my fall and winter garden, which for me has meant really amending my garden. I soil tested after the spring and summer garden and everything was depleted across the board. So I need a pretty big amount of compost. So it's time to get serious about composting here by myself. So what I'm gonna do, I've got this old freezer that it died about a month or two ago, and I wanted to be able to utilize it. So what I'm going to attempt to do is turn it into a compost bin, but not just a regular compost bin, an aerated static compost bin. Basically, what that means is that I'm going to pump air into my compost pile so it doesn't have to be turned as much, which would be great being that we're in Florida in almost 100-degree weather. So let me show y'all what the inside of the bin looks like and show you what I'm going to start my pile with. All right, so this is just a big chest freezer. And to start with, I am using, it's basically just our air mattress pump. I'm not sure if it's going to pump enough air or be strong enough. If it's not, I can always switch it out, but it's what I had here that didn't cost me anything, so I wanted to at least try it first. So that is our air pump. It is going to pump air down into these lines that run along the bottom of the freezer. Those holes that I drilled in there are 3/16 of an inch. And I've lined the bottom of the freezer with brown paper bags. If you look over here, I've got all of my ingredients that I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna start with mushroom compost. I'll do a layer of that on the bottom. I guess anytime you're composting, it's good to start with a finished layer and end with a finished layer. But I will add some throughout. It will basically inoculate it with the good bacteria. So I've got my mushroom compost. I've got a big pile of leaves. I've got my green grass clippings. And that is Seminole pumpkin vine, which I feel like is a green-brown mix. And more really big, thick paper bags. I also have my water hose right here. As I layer those in, I will water each layer. And I have my bucket of kitchen scraps and coffee grounds. Oh, and I have a pretty decent sized bucket of sheep manure, probably about 3 gallons of sheep manure. So I will add that to the pile as well. So I'm gonna start layering this stuff in. Like I said, I'm gonna start with that compost. I'm gonna do it like a lasagna garden and just do thin layers of all the ingredients. And I'm gonna get my air pump turned on and get some air pumping into the system. Y'all wish me luck. I really need this to work. Come along while I build this pile. I'm gonna try to do each layer probably just a couple inches thick because I really want this to break down a little bit faster than slower. It's just going directly over my pipes, so hopefully they don't get clogged up. So I think I'm gonna go with the Seminole pumpkin vines for my next layer. Now, just like any other living creature, all of the bacteria and microbes that we want to be flourishing in here, not only do they need air, but they also need water. So I'm gonna water each layer as it goes in. I think I'm gonna go with the grass clippings next. The grass clippings are a little tricky. If you have too thick of a layer, they get really matted up and squishy and gross and anaerobic. They'll get really smelly and they just won't break down. So the grass clippings, you do need them for your compost pile. They're a great addition, but you want to be careful that they're not put in too thick. Add more water. I'm gonna go ahead and add some of those leaves now that I got from the woods. A little more compost. A little more water. You don't want it sopping wet, but the bacteria does need water to survive. Time for some kitchen scraps. I feel like I got a lot of green in my pile right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and start tearing up some of these bags and add it in. I'm gonna keep going with my layers. I'm gonna go ahead and start adding some sheep poo. All right, y'all, it's going good. Getting pretty full. Only about halfway though. Hopefully the pile is big enough. I might have to collect some more material. Essentially you want it 3 feet tall and 3 feet wide in order to heat up enough. We're getting there. One more layer of finished compost on the top. I'm gonna add some more water before I do that too. But other than that, that's the material that I have right now, so. Y'all, well, that's it for now. Like I said, I am going to gather some more material and continue layering this on here. But I think it was a really good start, and I'm super excited to see how this compost project turns out. So y'all wish me luck, and I'll keep you updated. All right, y'all, I've got a aerated static compost bin update for you. It is day 4, the morning of day 4, and when I reach in and touch the compost pile, it is very warm to the touch, and my thermometer is still reading 150. However, the air pump that I have running it, the air mattress pump, is not strong enough. I need a better air pump, and my timer is not functioning correctly. Originally, I wanted it to turn on for 1 minute every hour, but it's not working like that. So basically, I turn it on for a couple minutes whenever I pass by or think about it, which is kind of a pain. So since the air, sorry, all my chickens are just being very loud right now. Since the air hasn't been working like I hoped, and since the pile has been so warm for 4 days, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of break it up a little bit just to kind of tuck some of the outsides in and see what the center of the pile looks like. Maybe mix it around a little bit. So when you touch the pile, you can actually feel the warmth in it. It says steady 150. It is definitely steaming. I think it is 150 degrees in there, really. It's steaming really well. I probably need to add some more browns to this mix. This pile is definitely hot. I don't know if y'all can see that steaming. All right, well, I did a light mix on the material, kind of turned the inside out and the outside in a little. And you can see it's already starting to break down. Hey y'all, I just wanted to give you an update. We are on day 8 of the aerated compost bin. And this morning I checked the temperature and noticed that the temperature's dropped about 10 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. And I collected this morning some sheep manure and some pine shavings from the meat chicken brooder. So I've got some extra stuff to add to it, which I've been wanting to do. So lots of browns and lots of nitrogen are about to go into the pile. Here is the wheelbarrow of sheep manure. Although this can be added directly to the garden, I've found that letting it sit kind of starts to break it down some, so it's more readily available. So I've got that, and I've also got this box of pine shavings and chicken manure from the meat chicken brooder. So, all right, there's my meat chicken bedding. All right, I've got another layer of the pine shavings from the meat chicken brooder and one more 5-gallon bucket of the sheep manure. Water it in real good, and then I'll cover it with some of the compost that's further along. So I already know what I would do differently. When this pile is done, I'm going to build a frame with a hardware cloth screen on it to go over the pipes, and so all the material will sit on top of the frame, and it'll keep the airflow going better and definitely getting a better air pump. But I think this looks great for 8 days. Everything's breaking down really good. I have been turning on the air pump several times a day for a minute or 2 at a time. So I think it's looking great. Here we are at day 11. I've really been having to turn this pile often because the temperature is getting so hot. I've got a lot of nitrogen in there, so I've been trying to not let it get too hot. So frequent turns have been the name of the game, which is not what I intended on doing with this compost bin, but it seems to be working. So we'll just keep going. All right, y'all, I've got some long overdue starts to go into the ground. They've been waiting to go in, but we've been waiting on a hurricane to pass. My compost is finally usable. So this compost is probably about 25 days old now, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. The compost bin worked beautifully. But I don't think that the aerated static part is really necessary for this type of a scale. So I'm going to go ahead and get busy putting these starts into the ground with some of my new compost. Thanks, y'all.